It's time for this week's UpLift. 3 ordinary guys that want you to find the freedom that is available by knowing our Lord Jesus Christ. So sit back and enjoy UpLift, brought to you by the Fulcrum Center. Visit our site at thefulcrumcenter.org.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Phil.
Somebody's missing.
I know, and I feel really odd sitting in his seat.
You look good in that seat.
Do I? Yeah. I just don't think I'm going to have the quick humor or the quips or the anything else that old Chad just really lays out
the
on us.
Chadisms.
I know, right? Yeah.
Well, Chad's getting a little downtime tonight.
Yes, he is. I'm excited. I'm glad for him.
Yeah, and you know what? I had some downtime this week.
You did?
I forced it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
That's a story.
Well, yeah. I was starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. A lot of things to get done. Things with the church, things with publishing, things with my book, other people's books.
Yeah.
Paperwork for church, work.
Work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, work 40 hours a week too, on top of it all. So I just said, you know what? I'm taking some downtime and cleared my schedule for the evening. But I'm here tonight because I was really eager to get back into it.
Yeah.
Had like 3 days at home, 3 straight days in a row at home, which I have not had for I don't know how long.
Wow.
3 straight evenings not going somewhere. And by last night, I was almost ready to climb the walls because, like, I got to be doing something.
Oh.
No, but actually, it was good because I actually did do a little bit of paperwork last night. And at 7 o'clock, I said, you know what? I'm done. I am going to force myself to just relax the rest of the evening. And it was good. I was glad I took a little bit of downtime this week.
Good. Yeah. So does it, what kind of mental gymnastics does someone go through in the process of a forced downtime?
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you asked because I did, if I think about it, I felt bad.
Okay.
Because I felt like I should be doing something. But at the same time, my body was saying, take a break.
Wow.
We have to remember there's physical aspects to our lives as well as spiritual aspects to our lives. And physically, I needed a break. And mentally, I needed a break. It's been, at work, it's not bad. It's just very, very mentally taxing.
Okay, yeah.
It's a project I'm working on. And by the end of the day, I'm just drained and didn't realize how physically drained I was too. So, but I did have to fight off on the spiritual side, had to fight off I should be doing something.
Yeah.
And so I just asked God to help me relax. And I slept great too as a result. Yeah.
Man, that's great.
And I had this incredible dream. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, I should write this down. And I fell back asleep and I cannot remember it. I just remember thinking, man, that was an incredible, and I knew it was from God.
Yeah.
I do not remember other than standing there with my arms out looking around, and that's all I remember. And I remember whatever I was seeing, I had to write down, but it's gone.
That's great. Well, rest and downtime is so many things. I mean, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Rest is refreshing. Rest is rejuvenating. Well, a lot of rewords, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's great, man. I think it's one of the things that, we can go right back to Genesis 1 and go to the 7th day.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's a whole great teaching on rest and that is such a desire of God's heart for his creation.
Yeah.
Is to rest. Even the 7th year. Rest.
Exactly.
The Israelites let their land rest.
Yep.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so much about that because there's a replenishing that takes place and there's a restoration that takes place and all those things out of resting or downtime.
I could really go off on a tangent on that one, but but let's just talk about the downtime. I mean, because Jesus is our rest, and there's a reason that God tells us to rest because it's both good for us physically, but it also teaches us about Jesus and the rest that is coming.
It
So
really,
that's the tangent I was talking about.
yep, it really does. All out of Hebrews and just kind of roll
Oh,
through
yeah.
that. Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's really good stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, rest is it's powerful. It's powerful.
It is. And, there's a reason that we sleep every night, too. And I'm sure that there's been many studies on it, and I've heard that if you go 8 days without sleep, you could die. But I mean, who could go that long? Yeah. I can't go 24 hours without sleep. But anyway.
So you're not going to fast sleep anytime soon?
Yeah. Oh, no, I like my sleep.
Right. We're all guilty.
Yes.
I know we're all guilty.
I wish I could do it during the day, too.
Yeah, that's right. I'm with you.
In kindergarten, I don't want to take a nap, but man, 52 years old, I'm like, oh, I need a nap. But yeah, you're right. It's important to rest. It is important no matter what you think needs to be done, it will be there when the rest is over.
Yeah, and I like when you're talking about taking that time, Phil, and that downtime, and that your body is just saying, okay, it's time to take this break, and there's in that, but in other times too, the Lord will tell us, you need to take a break, you need to rest, and I have found myself, and I have been guilty of this, so this is part confession. But
okay.
It's like there's times when God's like, you need to take a break and just stop, or just like what you did, clear your schedule and don't go, don't do, don't meet, don't, and I'm like, but I can do it. I know personally, in my own mind, in my own flesh, I'll bring that up too, but in my own flesh, that I know that I have the mental capacity to continue in this meeting. I have the physical strength to go out one more time or one more evening.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Until I realized that God's not asking me if I can handle it.
Yeah.
He's telling me to do it.
Right.
So all of a sudden, my push it through attitude becomes a disobedience to the Lord. And he's like, Ian, I'm not asking you, and I'm not, I know that you can push through. I know that you can do it, but will you obey?
Right.
And so that whole thing comes to a point of submission and surrender so that he can restore in that time of rest.
Right. Right. And, there's so many things that we don't see. And I can't even begin to list them because we don't see them. But let me just try to come up with one. Like maybe that it keeps you from being in a certain place at a certain time so that you don't get sick or you don't get in a car accident, things like that. Or it could be that during that time of rest and just, sitting back or sleeping or whatever it may be, maybe moments when God wants to reveal something new to you. Oh. And you could miss it.
Lord, just forgive me for I have sinned.
Yes, exactly.
Great points. No, really, really, really great points and practical points, because we're in a season that there's a shift and there's so many things happening, and there again, that's another. We could chase for weeks.
Well, yeah, we could
on that, but at the same time, we know that that's happening. So then, in this time of rest, there are things that God wants to talk to us about.
Right.
There are things He wants to share. There's things in our lives that He wants to purge. I mean, the list can go on and on.
Right.
But if we're not in that line of thinking of what you're talking about, Phil, then we're in a great place to miss those things.
Right. People say they want to hear from God. Okay, well, listen.
Ooh. Be still and know, right?
Right. Ooh. Yes, be still and know that I am God. Yes.
Toes off the floor. Toes off the floor.
Yeah.
Because that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do.
And I mean, when I say that, I mean, if you feel like you need to take a break, then God may be saying, take a break so I can talk to you.
That's right.
You want to hear from me, then listen to me.
Yeah, man, Phil, that's good.
So
that's really good.
Listen. Mm-hmm. And, I don't want to go off on a tangent on hearing from God, because I know we've talked about doing various things with that as well. Like, workshops or whatnot. But yeah, just listen. And if you feel like you need the break, then take the break. Mm-hmm. No matter what needs to be done.
Right. Right. Well, and doesn't too. Phil, doesn't that, because I know it does for me, but in taking that break when you know that there are plenty of things to do, right? That you're put in a position, and I mean lovingly, because God's taken you there. He is said, take this rest, take this break. But you're put in a position to trust him with those other things. Mm-hmm. So he is going to move on your behalf.
Yes. Yes.
And so you get to watch that happen.
Yes.
So even in that rest, don't we get to watch him be who he is and do what he says that he would do, and our faith gets to grow?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen is tomorrow somebody's going to call in to work and say, well, Phil and Ian told me to take the day off. No, we did not say that. No, we did not say that.
Yeah, you can contact Phil at Phil.
434.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Oh, that's funny. Oh my! But you know what? There are those times and all that you get to just step away. And you know what? We really need to take advantage of that and listen to the Lord and spend some time with him and just be quiet and be still. There's so much that God wants to do to connect with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
And along those same lines, it is not as difficult as you're making it out to be to connect with God, to have a relationship with God, to hear from God, to pray, to fast even from anything.
Right.
People make it out to be so difficult that they avoid doing it, including rest.
Yes.
I don't know how to rest. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, how do I shut this off? Man, that's a couple shows.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
Well, because we get...
Yeah.
Man, it just is rolling, and the enemy just is pumping
more
at us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they try to overwhelm us.
Absolutely.
They know what works to harm us, what temptations we give into. They know all these things, and they focus on those. So if you can't shut your mind off and you try to rest, they're going to come at you throwing all kinds of things at your mind to keep you from resting.
That's right.
How do you overcome that? You pray. God. Because I got to tell you, the moment I finally realized that all I got to do is ask God and he will answer, it changed my life.
Yeah.
I prayed a whole lot more then, because I used to pray just because I was supposed to. But when I prayed because I knew that God heard me and answered me, that changed everything.
Yeah. And one of the things that I found too, along with that, is like, there's these seasons and times, and all of us who've had children, we watch them go through these seasons of restless sleep, or you know, just those type of things that they struggle with. Or even one of my kids really dealt with a lot of nightmares. And so one of the things that God put on Julie and I's heart was to play worship music in their room at night.
Okay.
And so when we did that, and then the kids are just like, oh, we just love it. This is fantastic. So they always have something playing. But it allowed them the nightmares stopped and rest, really good sleep took place. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
Doesn't it speak, though, to the power of worship?
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Years ago, and I know I've told you this before, but I'll share it with everybody else. I had nightmares for years. And I mean, I would see demons in my dreams. Yeah. And I saw my dog attack a demon, and the demon like break my dog in half, and then not step into my house, come through the wall into my house. And I mean, I would have these vivid nightmares about demons. And I didn't call them demons at first because I didn't know what they were, but then I realized what they were.
Okay.
But, I didn't play worship music, but that's a fantastic idea. But it took a lot of prayer, and it took a lot of renouncing things that I had done in my past that I had allowed Now, I'm not saying your kids did this, but for any adult who may be having dreams like this, or teenagers even, if you've done things like play with the Ouija board or consulted a psychic or medium, or you've allowed that into your life, you've given your authority to them for them to come in and afflict you.
Yeah.
And they can afflict you in your dreams. But once I took care of that, I not only had fewer dreams for a while, which was fine because I was resting very well.
There you go.
One time in the last probably 25, 30 years, I had a nightmare just one time. Wow. And I know why too.
Oh, there you go.
And I took care of it.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it really does work to rely on God, to give you the rest, to help you rest.
Right.
You don't have to figure it out on your own. I didn't figure that out on my own, actually. I mean, I know it sounds like I did, but through prayer, God led me into what to do and what to say and how to do it. So what I'm saying is God will lead you into rest because he wants you to have rest.
And I think that's one of the, even just, as we're talking about this, is just looking at some of the practical things to where, we're talking about downtime and everything. And it's, it can be, hey, you know what, take the evening off. Don't spend the time, whatever, doing yard work or this or going to a meeting or do that. But you know what, man, just get your bride or your husband, your spouse, and just go get something to eat. It can be something like that.
Yeah,
but too,
that's true.
It's just very, but from the practical side of things, it can be just go be where God wants you to be and go do the things that God is saying, hey, just take a break and go do this. Change things up and just spend some, it's not just cancel all your meetings, grab your Bible,
right,
go sit in the corner and read and pray.
That's true.
But it is some of those other things. And it's like, with the meetings and stuff that we have and the things that go on a lot of times in the evenings because of just where God has us in life and where we're being used and how he wants to use us. Our spouses sometimes can feel distanced because of those things, or our kids or whatever it may be. So it can be something very practical of go spend time and make the family the priority. And that's the downtime that's needed.
Definitely.
But even speaking to the sleep, which what we were speaking to before, is like some practical things to bring rest to your life is to think about, like what you shared, Phil. What are some things in the past that may have opened some doors for that restlessness or nightmares or, and the list can go on. And so, reject those, renounce them, reject them, and then refill your heart and mind with turn on some worship music. Yeah. And get some sleep.
Right. Yeah. And, Tanya watches this, so I'm going to have to take her out to dinner now. But no, I'm just kidding.
I know. Tanya, yep. Pick your
I'm calling
place.
Julie.
Pick your place, Tanya.
No, you're absolutely right. And the thing that we got to remember is, and I say this because this is something I had to remember. I don't mean to push this off on everybody, but if you're in the same boat I was in, God to me was somebody that created everything and he was there, he cared for us, but there was no relationship. It was because he was distant and you couldn't ever be like him and he was up there,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But when I realized and he showed me, hey, I'm right here. I'm your best friend. I can talk to you. You can hear me. In fact, you have been hearing me, this, and this. And he listed the things that that was God. Wow. What I'm getting at is when you start out knowing that God does love you and cares for you so much that he wants this relationship with you, to establish it just changes everything. It changes your rest. It changes your work. It changes everything you do. It changes everything because that's what he wants for you, because he is so mighty and so great. And I knew that.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he was mighty and great for me.
I do.
But he is. Yeah. He is mighty and great for me and for you and for you.
Yeah.
All of us.
And that's one of the things that for the longest time that I had struggled with for personally was, man, I have plenty of faith for you, Phil.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
God will move mountains for you. Yeah. I mean, he'll take care of you. Oh, you won't have to work. There's everything you ever need.
Right.
Phil, he'll have it for you. Me, that's a whole different story.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's because we think about the things we've done in the past.
Yeah.
The mistakes we've made.
That's good, yes. Or
the beliefs we had or didn't have. And we think, oh, well, it's too late. No.
Right.
Amazing grace. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. 10,000 years. And we no less days. I don't care if you're 8 or 80, if you're 10 or 100, or anywhere in between. You can start right now.
That's right.
You can start at 75. Really, you can start at 55.
Yeah.
You can start at 15 or 5 months. Well, that may be a little difficult, but God will take care of you if you're 5 months old. And thanks for listening. See how I guess the comic relief is on me tonight. Thanks, Chad.
I know, right? Shifted to the other chair.
Yeah. He sat in my chair before he left, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, as a matter of fact, he did. He just didn't want to tell you.
Yeah. Oh. But again, rest is so very important, and downtime is important, and that's what Chad's doing, I believe. I think, I can't remember what he told us, but I think it involved taking Kathy out.
Yeah, I think they're spending some time together.
Yeah, and that's great because
it really is.
That's maybe not something he does on this particular night every week or whatever, and that's great. So it doesn't have to be just sitting on the couch watching TV. It can be changing things up, like you said. Yeah. I just love that how you said that. Change things up. Mm-hmm. So really now we're going to have somebody that's going to say, well, Phil and Ian told me that I could go to the beach in November. Well, I didn't say that. No. But if you do.
But he really insinuated it, didn't he? No.
So yeah, don't use us as your excuses, but do change it up.
Yeah, but read Genesis chapter 1 on
the
7th day. On the 7th day when God rested. Yeah. That he actually rested with his creation.
Yes, he did.
Which is you. But yeah,
yes.
It really is. It's that time to understand that downtime and to, feel like, we were talking about changing things up and stepping into just that stillness, that quietness and asking the Lord to shut our minds off. So the enemy doesn't tempt us to be distracted while we're even out with the ones that we are supposed to be spending time with, doing those type of things. But, play some worship music. I mean, there's it's so many different things that we can do to allow that rest that God has for us to just permeate where we are. And we'll really benefit from it. It's like one of the things that I thought about when you were sharing about, I don't know how long it's been since I've had these many evenings at home. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that came to my mind, Phil, was how we physically get worn. And as we get worn, then tempers get short and we don't spend as much time on the spiritual side of things that we should because we're just trying to down another cup of coffee to keep it rolling.
Yes.
Those type of things. And so rest in itself with that in mind too is a weapon against the enemy in those attacks.
It is. Yes. That's a great point.
We're rejuvenated.
Yes.
Not many things catch us off guard, so to say, those type of things. And we're not worn. So that rest that God's given us, honestly, it is a weapon against what the enemy wants to do to destroy us.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It really is. But it's good. It's good. And it's things that we need.
It is.
Things we need.
Yeah. And I can't stress enough that you said it too. You used the word obedience. That really is the key. Because when you are obedient to God, who knows everything, he knows your tomorrow, he knows your past and your tomorrow and your present. And if he knows what to tell you to do. So that obedience to him when you know. And how do you know if you're being obedient to God? It's faith. Mm-hmm. See, the thing about faith is you can make a mistake. And if you did it in faith, then it doesn't necessarily erase the mistake. I'm not saying that, but there's a difference between stepping out in faith and maybe not stepping in the right direction, as opposed to doing it on your own, stepping out on your own and falling off a cliff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can step out in the wrong direction. If you step off that cliff, you've stepped in faith, God's going to hold you up until you see, hey, I went the wrong way, and he's going to pull you back. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So, but when you just go out on your own, or I know God said this, but there's no way I can do that, then you're just opening yourself up for a failure.
Yeah. You really are. And usually 9 times out of 10, if you hear the Lord share something with you to do, and you go, man, I don't know about that, that's probably him.
Oh, absolutely.
Just simply because he's going to, the point of stepping out in faith is to put him on display.
Yes.
You know, so that he receives the glory that he deserves.
Right, whether it be in your own life or someone else's.
Right.
Right, because you can put God on display in your own life.
Yes.
You know, he can show you, like I said with me, he said, I told you these 3 or 4 things, and you know, I told you before it was going to happen, and then when it happened, now you know it was me. God put himself on display in my life. But then also he can say, go talk to this person, smile at this person, help this person, whatever it may be, and then he gets put on display in someone else's life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But obedience either way.
Exactly. Yep, that's key.
Absolutely.
That's key.
Boy, I tell you, all this talking makes me want to get some rest.
I know. Right? Need a little downtime.
Yeah. No, but it really was very good week. Really, all I did was I took one night off because I already had the 2 nights that I didn't have anything planned, but I purposely made sure that nothing got put in on those 2 nights. Okay. Yeah. And then I took that 3rd night off, and it was exactly what I needed, both physically and spiritually.
Good.
Because today was a great day.
Good.
And yesterday was not so great, but today was a great day.
That's awesome.
And I know it's because I did what the Lord told me to do, to clear your calendar, take a break, and just relax tonight.
Good.
So I spent some time with Tanya and just relaxed.
Man, that's fantastic. The benefits of obedience.
Yes. Absolutely. And you can do it too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Rest is for us all. Rest is for us all.
Rest is for us all. Yes. All right, Ian, I almost called you Chad. I almost said Chad.
I would have been honored. I really would have. Chad.
It's the chair.
Yeah, it is. But man, what a great night.
It was.
Absolutely.
And I think that I'm very happy that Chad's getting some rest tonight.
Me too.
And we look forward to having him back again next week. And hopefully, I heard it might snow soon. It's October and it's supposed to snow. But anyway, hopefully we'll be. And if we can't be here in the studio, we'll do it on Zoom.
Yes. Yeah. That's perfect.
Throughout the winter.
Yes.
Whatever may come. So you may see some Zoom videos from us.
Yeah.
You know, if we can't get to here on a night that we record.
Yeah. That's great.
All right.
Fantastic. It was great to have you with us.
Yep. We'll see you again next week.
Blessings.